Hey guys, hello. Are you ready for looking at a ton of cartage? I got Ttexxx and Kel here with me. It's gonna be fun. Say hi, guys.
Hello.
All right.
Hola.
So, I'll just go over this is gonna get put on YouTube. So, the one thing you guys know, we're not gonna be. There won't be any follow alerts or sub alerts. So if you guys do that stuff, it's fine. But I won't be able to say thank you until the end and all that. So just be aware of that. So it's a little bit different than a normal stream. And then our kind of like the agenda I came up with. We're just going to go over quickly over card rotation. We're not going to spend a lot of time on it because frankly, I figured out now after doing a couple of these how long it takes. So we'll just kind of briefly go over some of the main cards leaving. And then we're going to go over the new mechanics and what we think about those. And obviously the new cards, and then we'll go over like how we think classes may do, predictions for meta and all that, which is frankly not always that great because frankly it usually is, there's always a lot of surprises anyway. And then we have a little bit of an announcement for fun. So, all right. Well, I guess I should turn this off because we're not actually going to be checking these cards out quite yet. So the 3 sets, if you guys don't know, if you're newer to the game, starting on Thursday, we're having 3 sets rotate out. It's the way they do standard rotation. So, oh, can I screen share? I don't think I can. Maybe I can.
Oh well, and no big deal.
No, I can't because it messes up the webcams.
Well, I can just watch your stream. It's all right.
Yeah, it's gonna go in order. I'll actually hear what I'll do something quick. I'll send you the. Let me send you guys
The link.
Yeah, of what I'm using.
Yeah.
It'll be right in order with that, so that way you guys can like.
Sounds good.
Tag along. All right, I sent it in Discord. So we got 3 sets rotating out. It's going to be Old Gods, and then the Carcassonne Adventure, and then Gadget Sand. This will be the last year. Next year, it'll actually be 3 full sets. This is the last time an adventure set, which is a little bit smaller, will rotate out. So I'm just going to go over some of the cards. If you guys think, like, we'll just kind of go over each class. I'm just going to read out the cards. If I missed one that you think is more interesting, that I missed.
Well, I'm mostly just sad we're gonna lose all the old gods, like Cthulhu and N'Zoth and all them, and mostly Yogg-Saron. I'm so sad we're gonna lose stuff like that.
I know. And also, guys, I'm probably not. We're not going to be interacting with chat a ton either. So, just like I said, be aware. I don't want you guys to feel like we're not watching or anything. So for Druid, they're losing Mark of Yasharaj, Feral Rage, Mirekeeper, and Enchanted Raven are both pretty used cards. They're losing Moonglade Portal, Menagerie Warden. One of my key cards I think they're losing is Mark of the Lotus, at least for the way I play. I'm pretty sad about that. And then Celestial Dreamer is not like a great card, but it's like not a terrible card. So Druid's losing a little bit. As I was doing the review, as I was kind of like researching, I thought it was going to be worse, but I guess a lot of their stronger cards are from the previous sets that are still in standard. So like, KFT and stuff. So I don't know what you guys think about Druid, but I think they're not going to be. Their cards they're getting is pretty bad, but you guys have any thoughts on the cards leaving them?
Well, I'm really sad to see Mark of the Lotus go, and
Yeah.
I like you were saying, that card just there's so many good ways to use it early in the game and late in the game, especially with like living mana and the number of ways you can generate a lot of tokens right now. I'm a little bit sad about that.
Yeah, I definitely like playing the token style. Like even with like Crypt Lord and a lot of the cards out now, like I just love the buffing. Now they still have Power of the Wild from the classic set, but it's just not nearly as efficient. Even with like Living Mana takes a hit with Mark of the Lotus leaving if you're going to try to play that kind of style. But I think it's pretty evident that style is going to be pretty dead in the next set probably. So goodbye, Savage or Druid. I loved you.
We're gonna have to deal with those big taunts and everything again.
And then the sad Hunter, they're losing. I counted. I might be wrong. They're losing 2 1-drops, 2 2-drops, 4 3-drops, and 2 4-drops, and all of them are pretty strong. They're losing like Fiery Bat on the Hunt, Carrion Grub, Infested Wolf, Call of the Wild, Catrick, Kindly Mother, Cloaked Huntress, Alley Cat, Beast Rager, Rat Pack, Shady Zip Gunner, Dispatch Kodo, and Piranha Launcher. Like those are all really good cards.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, a lot of their curve, right? They're just
yeah,
losing
like
their curve.
they're losing their and they're not getting much
Yeah.
back from what I haven't invested a ton of time in studying everything new yet because I wanted to kind of have a fresh look on it, but they're going to be hurting for sure. You're gonna Mage, you won't have to play around. Firelands Portal's leaving, that's a big one. Forbidden Flame, Twilight Flamecaller, and Cabalist Tome, Babbling Book, Medea's Valet, and like Volcanic Potion. Those are some big ones from them.
Shimmering Tempest is still around though, right? That was in Goro.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Shimmering Tempest was part of the Elemental push. Yeah, from Ungaro.
So we're losing. They're also losing Cabal Courier. So we are losing a lot of the card generation with Babbling Book, Tome, and Courier.
Yeah.
So that's going to be nice. Mage is going to be more. I mean, it looks like it's going to be more elemental focused. So maybe a little more minion based than it has been in the past.
A little bit more honest. Yeah.
It's
maybe
definitely
they'll
more
have to
minion
play
based.
on the board.
Yeah. They pushed the minion base, which we'll even explore in one of the card draw mechanics they got. It's just pretty interesting. That's going to be. I think that's actually going to be a pretty good card. We'll talk about that one though. But
We'll talk about it later.
Yeah. Paladin. It's funny, they're losing like their card buffing. Selfless Hero and Rallying Blade are big cards. Steward of Darkshire and Stand Against Darkness. So they're kind of losing the Divine Shield thing they had going. Silvermoon Portal, and then for like card generation, losing Ivory Knight and Getaway Kodo, and then all the buff ones, which is like Smuggler's Run, Outfitter, Enforcer, all those cards. So I don't ever think the hand buff mechanic was good, but it wasn't like it was hard to pull off, honestly, sometimes. But when it first came out, it was pretty decent for a while.
So it sounds like they're going to be really pushing the more current Paladin stuff they've been doing. It's either Silverhand Knight based or Silverhand Recruit. I don't even know what the basic cards do. The 1/1 strategy, the dude strategy, or the curve strategy with like Righteous Protector and Unidentified Maul and things like that, instead of delaying your buffs and going for a better tempo turn later.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's gonna be. So are they gonna be the aggro deck then?
Probably. We'll see. We'll get to the cards.
Yeah.
They're losing a lot of their slow value cards. Interesting.
They are getting some value cards though, but it's on the board value, so we'll get to that.
Ooh.
Yeah. Priest is losing Shadow Word Horror, Shifting Shade, Alchemist, Priest of the Feast, Bishop, Onyx Bishop, Potion of Madness. Thank God. Yes. I'm so excited. Thank you. Sorry.
Can we all just can we do whatever the opposite of having a moment of silence is? Potion of Madness. I don't know what it is exactly.
Fuck you,
but
Potion of Madness. Sorry for Sorry. Okay.
That's the one.
I'll probably be bleeped out. Okay. I hated that card so much. Cabal Talon Priest and Operative. Song Stealer was a nice card. I'll miss that one a little bit. That was fun. It's a nice 5/5 body. The silence, and then obviously those in Dragonfire Potion, which is significant because they have Scream, but it was another good clear they had. So
yeah,
that's a lot of their best cards.
Yeah,
that was a lot of their good cards.
Yeah, they lost. I mean, it's funny. Like I put this in a Word document, and like when when you type it out and kind of look at the like list, sometimes it's a little bit more. You kind of like get a better gauge of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right.
So like what are the power cards left from Priest? Is it just Psychic Scream, or do we have some?
Yeah,
and
Psychic Scream, Mind Control statues.
They still have Death and Pain, but
yeah. Rogues losing Journey Below. Some of their card generation. Understudy Huckster, Shadow Strike. I'll miss that one. South Sea Squid Face. One of my favorites, Shadowcaster. I love that card. Swashbuckler, always fun. Peddler, a really nice body. Ethereal Peddler, and then Shuriken and Lotus Assassin. So those are all good ones.
Did they lose Ferryman?
Yes. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I was trying to limit the list a little bit. It was a good card, though. I did like that one, too. It was fun.
I just love that card because it lets you do cool stuff. But like half the reason it's good is because of Swashbuckler. So if that's gone, I guess it doesn't really matter.
All right. So for Shaman, they're losing... Actually, Shaman's losing a lot. Evolve, Stormcrack, Faceless, the 4-mana 7/7, Master Evolution, Hammer of Twilight, Thing from Below, Maelstrom Portal, Finders Keepers, Jade Claws, Jade Lightning, Jinyu, and White Eyes. So they're taking quite a hit on their evolve mechanics, or at least the tempo evolving, I guess. I mean, they still have, obviously the unstable evolution, which in a lot of ways is better, but it's nice that they won't have both, to be honest.
And they won't be able to 4-mana 7/7 us anymore, and there's no scaling, so that's cool.
Yeah. And then Warlock's losing Forbidden Ritual, Possessed Villager. They're losing a lot too. Darkshire Librarian, Darkshire Councilman, Doom, Malchazar's Imp, Silverware Golem, Karakazam, Blood Fury Potion, Blast Crystal Potion, Crystal Lever, Felfire, Cabal Trafficker, and Abyssal Enforcer. A lot of they had such a powerful set in Gadget Sand. I think they actually are getting a few decent cards in return, but they're not quite as much board control for sure. Abyssal Enforcer was just a
powerhouse.
Oh my god. That card when it came out, I'll never forget the first deck I drafted had 5 Abyssal Enforcers and three Felfires. I know it sounds, but everyone's like, "You're crazy. You're gonna die." And I'm like, "No, you don't understand." And it was just like, it felt like it actually made me question the game because I was like, this just doesn't feel fair. Like
that was the first halfway nerf, right? Abyssal Enforcer and Flame Strike.
Yeah.
Which I feel like they halfway nerfed at some point, but I never mind. I don't know if they did, but it seems like it came back.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, they did unnerf it, I think. I think they said that.
When they did the micro adjustments, they just fixed it that way.
They said they'll fix it through the micro adjustments.
So Warriors losing Blood to Ichor, Nizos First Mate, Bloodsail Cultist, Ravaging Ghoul, Blood Hoof Brave, Fool's Bane is a good one. Grime Street Pawnbroker is one that's been used a lot lately. I know a guy. Grimy Gadgeteer is a good one as well. Some of those cards are good. They're definitely losing a few decent ones. And then it's always fun, the neutral cards, which are kind of like the heart of Arena. I'm going to miss a lot of these cards, honestly. Like, when I looked through this list, I was like, damn, I missed these. I like these cards. Bilefinch, Tidehunter, Twisted Worgen. Squirming Tentacle was never that great, but that's one we're losing. Aberrant Berserker, Cyclopean Horror, Faceless Shambler, Infested Tauren. What are some of the other good ones? Psychotron I'll miss. I'll really miss Corrupted Seer's going away, but we have Primordial Drake now, so who cares? I'll miss Nerubian Prophet a lot. I love is that card all the way through with like evolving it and stuff. Like, I've always just loved that card because you can keep it in your mulligan. It was one of my favorites. Bog Creeper, Rip Bob Creeper. He held the line many times. Deathwing Dragonlord, Nazoth. We're losing Yogg-Saron, Yashiraj, and then like Historian, Thespian, Illusionist was a nice one. I love that one. Zubat. And then we're losing like Curator and a couple other ones.
So much card generation and card draw are disappearing. All the Discover cards are just gone. So many of them anyways. Yeah.
I didn't put them in the actual they came up in neutral, but like Grime Street Informant, Lotus Agents, Hired Gun, Cabal Courier, Toxic Sewer Ooze. I'll miss Daring Reporter. I had some fun times with that card. And a card that I used a lot that a lot of people didn't was Hosen Healer. I love that fucking card. I used it so much.
Which was it?
Hosen Healer. I love that card.
Oh, sure.
Cabal Chemist, Kazakis, and then Rip Cookie Chemist. I'll miss you forever. It's like one of my favorites. Naga Corsair, Bomb Squad, Doppelgangster, Spiked Hog Rider was so good. Man, I definitely didn't quite understand how good that card. I knew it was decent when I saw it, but that card's been great all the way through. Ancient Blossoms, Aya, and then like Big Time Racketeer was another one in Defiance Cleaner. So those are I just wanted to go over some so you guys can see like there's a lot of cards leaving. So
yep.
So what do we have left in terms of
Sorry?
And what?
Oh. You there,
I
Cal?
think it's my cut.
Yeah. Maybe. Callan?
Oh.
He froze too.
He froze too, yeah.
His face is frozen. It's kind of
We lost Cal.
I won't lie, it's not the best expression. I wish I knew how to turn it off. Oh, okay.
You coming back?
Well, we'll try calling him again. All right.
Oh, now I'm split in half.
Yeah, you're like split double. I dare not move though because when he comes back.
Yeah, it's fine. Wahahaha.
So are you guys saying it's freezing? I've heard a couple people say that. I don't know if there's anything I can do about it. Just waiting for him to come back.
I'm trapped.
It's fine for
I
you.
wonder if something happened on his end.
I do have it set at a high setting, guys. You can change the change change the quality down if you're having issues. That's what I would recommend. It's set at a pretty high rate, but you do have. I'm gonna double check, but I'm pretty sure my video settings are on. Oh shit, they're not right now. That sucks. Well, usually they are. If you can't watch it right now, I'm doing this for YouTube, so you can watch the VOD, I guess. Sorry. Rip. Usually you can, yeah, it's weird. It goes off and on. I thought I had it back, so I didn't do anything. But if you're having issues, you can watch the VOD then. I'll wait till Kellen. Oh, wait. Yeah, maybe he's, like, totally gone.
I think he must have lost power or lost connection with the internet or something.
Yeah,
It's like he got disconnected from Discord as well.
I guess for now, nope, wrong one. That's just your body. There, at least your head's there. I guess we can probably start a while at least. We have a lot to
do, so
yeah.
He should be back by the time we get to the cards and stuff, so we can talk about the mechanics.
Oh yeah, we can talk about mechanics, that's true. Alright, yeah, let's talk about mechanics and how we think they're going to affect the game. What'd you say?
I'm back.
Oh.
Okay,
Alright, cool.
My internet just went off.
Well, that's what you had this really ugly expression on your face when you left, so it was this like freeze. I was like, I can't turn it off. It was funny.
I don't know what happened there.
That's okay. Let me add
back to this guy.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
And I'll no longer be a giraffe.
You won't be a giraffe.
Oh, I like this a lot though. I really am digging this text picture.
Oh, I misspelled announcement? I did. Oh god. Oh, I look like such a dummy. I spent so much time on it too. Oh. Wait, what did I spell wrong? Announce.
You're missing an N there, but that's okay. We'll just make an announcement instead. No big deal.
It's a noun.
Wait, I got it right now. Okay.
You got it now.
All right. Oh, damn it.
All right. Hey, it's me.
There you go.
So much time and effort. Okay.
For YouTube.
I really worked hard, guys. I spent like hours to make this try to look cool. Okay, well, it's all right. Thank you for pointing it out at least. Okay, so we're going to talk about the mechanics real quick. The big ones are Echo and Rush. And there's also, I guess it's kind of a mechanic. There's also this like, I don't know if they have a name for it really, but it's like the flipping back and forth of like stats at the end of every turn. It's at the end of the turn it switches, right? Or the end of.
I thought it was the beginning of each. It honestly doesn't matter, right?
It doesn't really matter. I can't remember it.
It matters in terms of gameplay. It doesn't matter right now.
Yeah. Well, like, okay, so first we'll just talk about Echo first. Echo's like basically a mechanic where the card kind of looks like Unstable Evolution, where like after you play it, it comes back in your hand and you can utilize it for as much mana as you have. For instance, like there's a warrior card that does 1 damage to all minions. That's 2 mana. And if you had 10 mana, you could play it five times and do 5 damage. That's just one example of many. If it's a minion and there's a 3 mana 2/4 taunt, you can play it, 3 times on turn 9, 2 times on turn 6, that kind of thing. I'm a little bit. We'll talk about this for sure because I'm actually a little bit scared of the mechanic, to be honest. I think it's cool, but I was talking to Kellen before the stream a little bit, like in terms of when it gets into top deck mode, which I think with the slower meta that we're probably going to see, it's going to get that way sometimes. Like it's basically going to be who top decks the Echo card first is what I'm concerned about a little bit. Some of the cards you can't really utilize them like in a top deck war, but there are a lot of them you could. So what are you guys' thoughts on the Echo?
Tex, you go first because I have some thoughts. But
have some thoughts? I think as long as they're not, I think that it's a good mechanic in terms of being good to play with. So it should be a very strong mechanic, and all the Echo cards are kind of understated, but just a little bit for the mana cost. So, which is makes it balanced, I think, in terms of or more balanced than in terms of what they could have done. So at least there's not like huge power creep there. I don't think in terms of like what they could have done with it. So
yeah, I definitely think it's gonna lead to some pretty frustrating late games where, you know, obviously top deck mode, and then you draw the Echo card and your opponent doesn't, and it'll feel a lot like when your opponent draws Tome into Tome. But in general, it's gonna be totally fine in the mid game. So, but we were talking about the format slowing down a ton, right? And if the format slows down a lot, that's when I start to get worried about cards that have early game ability. You can play them early for an okay value, but in the late game they're just busted, and that's when I'm concerned. I don't think it's going to be bad, but if the format is indeed as slow as we were thinking it might be, then we're going to definitely have to watch for Echo cards. Their value is going to go way up because of that.
Yeah, like I mean, there's kind of like, you can look at it two ways. Like if it's a top deck war and everyone thinks slow, like a lot of times players won't necessarily be running out of cards in that situation if there's a lot of value. So like it maybe won't feel as bad as I'm thinking. Like the extreme situation that I'm considering is like two like more aggro decks that are like both at like have like, you know, both have a 2/2 on board. They're just top decking cards, and then the rogue top decks that 2 mana like just, you know, get a free like card, you know, for like 2 mana and gets 5 cards and like instantly is just wins, like pretty much because of that. Now the fair thing is both players will probably have them. So, you know, if it's slow, like it might not be as bad. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna be a feel thing. It is really nice that they didn't. There's really none of them that I can remember seeing that are like overpowered for being an Echo. I think they did a pretty good job. We'll look at them, but I think they did a pretty good job balancing them. Overall.
Yeah, it's certainly going to depend on the individual card, right? Like the one that does damage, that's not going to leave a lasting effect that totally messes up the board forever.
Right.
But if the ones that make minions like that, those I'm a little more concerned about.
Yeah, like there's the shaman one that's a 2 mana 2/2 that they could just put 10/10 of stats on turn 10 and have split damage, which is also powerful. So yeah. So there's that mechanic. We kind of already talked about the flip mechanic, which I think is kind of interesting. I'm not sure. I guess I'm going to wait till we review the cards themselves to kind of think about that more. And then, of course, we're getting the rush mechanic, which is Blizzard's way of trying to stop like the pain of losing to a charge minion. At least that's their attempt. I think the trade-off of making rush minions, though, is that it's going to make for very swingy games. Because especially for this set, when we have the bonus that I'm assuming we're going to have, and there's less cards like overall, and so you're going to see a lot of rush cards, like a ton of them. In this meta, I think it's going to feel very swingy because, like, you know, he'll play a 3 mana rush and then he'll play a 4 mana rush, and it'll be like, well, I'll play your rush, and it'll just kind of. I'm not saying it's going to be like that all the time, but it definitely. I personally don't like when there's large swings continually. So
yeah.
So I don't know if I'm going to like it a ton, but go ahead.
I'm concerned that it lets you play from off the board so much. I think there are certain classes that can play off the board. Like, I mean, already we have Priest and Mage and Warlock, but the more people that are able to play off the board, the swingier the games go, right? Because all the off the board cards have to have a huge effect if you're going to do that. So anything with initiative, like a rush card, can I don't know. I don't want everyone to have. I haven't seen all the rush cards yet, so I don't know if there's anything that's good enough to do that. But I don't want everyone to have a card similar to Firelands Portal in their deck or Argent Commander in their deck.
Yeah. What are your general thoughts, Tex?
I think that that's what Blizzard wants, though. I think they want the game to be swingier. Like when they made KNC, they made it intentionally more swingy, and they made it like more control based, more. Like each expansion, they're trying to make it more and more control and more swinging. That's what they want. That's what they've been doing. That's what they've been pushing. So, like, I'm expecting that to continue with this expansion because, like, with the cards I've seen, it seems like that's what they're pushing. So it looks like it's going to keep going.
Yeah.
Whether you guys want it or not, it's going to happen.
Is there any other like general mechanics that are in the set that I'm missing? That's the main ones, right?
No, those are the good. Those are the main ones, right?
All right, let's move on to the juice. Let's go to the cards.
Yeah, because the legendary mechanics don't really matter for us, right? The odds.
Yeah,
evens.
the odds evens that doesn't happen.
And they're not even going to be an arena, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's not,
All right.
not important at all.
And now for the fastest part of the card review, Druid. Here we go. Because this is gonna. These cards all suck. I'm just throwing that out. I think they all suck, or most of them. All right. You guys got the link and everything? You good to go?
Yes.
All right. So yeah, we'll just go from the first one and go over. All right. So first card, Ferocious Howl, 3 mana. To draw a card, gain 1 armor. For each card in your hand. They're really pushing this hand mechanic in like all the Druid cards. And then we can rate them from 1 to 10 after we talk about them. I think this card is complete crap. So 3 mana to draw a card is just. The armor is like fairly insignificant. Like it'll be okay sometimes, I guess, with spellstones, but like you need a lot of things to work together to get the value you would need to make this card any good. So.
Yeah, I think it seems like they're trying to push the armor piece too. And
Yeah.
if you have enough Ironbark Golems, or if Jasper Spellstone keeps a high offering rate, then it's pretty interesting. Drawing 1 card seems low, but if you think of it as drawing 1 card and dealing 2 damage with a Spellstone, it's a little bit better. Even then, though, it still doesn't seem good enough. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not good. I think of it like shield block that may or may not get you more or less armor, depending on how slow your deck is.
Yeah, I'll give this like a 2.
Yeah, it's not a great card.
Yeah.
I'd probably give it like so what is a 5? Can you give it an example of a 5?
5 is
that
like
already exists?
Yeah, that's like the Yeti card if you want. We just like that's like the basic stats, like 4 mana 4/5. Well, actually, that's premium stats, I guess.
Okay.
Maybe I guess it's more like a 4 mana
4 mana 4/4.
Yeah, because like a Yeti you wouldn't say is a 5 because it's a little bit higher. That'd be like a 6.
So a Yeti's like a 6. And a Terram's a 10, and 1 is
Terran's a 25.
And a 1 is a darkness.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ugh.
I don't know. Kellen's face is frozen again.
Did we lose him again?
Maybe.
Rip.
It's a like a.
I hope you're back.
Oh, great. Oh, hey, there I am. That's so weird. I don't know what's. Well, hello.
Okay. It's so funny because every time that you freeze, it's like this face, like, and I'm not explaining it. It's this funny face. Okay. All right, we're good. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so I would say this card's pretty bad. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
All right.
definitely.
Wow, this card, Bewitched Guardian, 5 mana 4/1, gain 1 health, and it has taunt. Sorry, gain 1 health for each card in your hand. This is like the worst top deck ever. It's pretty bad. I mean, if you're lucky and you actually like play cards per card, you might make it like a 5 mana, like 4/4 or 5/4/5 maybe. It's pretty not good.
Yeah, like best case scenario, you're getting an under. I mean, it's just worse than Twilight Drake by a lot.
Like yeah,
I mean,
by
that's taunt, so it's not as bad as I think.
Right.
You guys think,
well, it does have taunt. I do think taunt helps a little.
I think also with the game slowing down more, you'll have more cards in hand often. So I think it will go up in terms of value because the game is slowing down. Because typically
It's a 5
the game
mana
slows down.
4/6 taunt.
Yeah,
That's good enough, right?
It's like Druid of the Claw with that can be silenced though,
And also isn't a beast.
And
And
isn't
doesn't
a
have the
beast.
option of going face on turn.
and doesn't have the option of going face. So it's worse than that, obviously, but it's still like if your deck's slow enough and you have enough things that generate cards and stuff, it can still be okay. I don't think it's like trash. I think it's actually okay, playable.
Are we looking more at like a Nesting Rock level of type of card as the?
I think it's a little less than that, but
I mean, is it like a? I was gonna
I'm
give it like
as
a
the
4.
goal. If you can get it to Nesting Rock,
if you can
every
get to
single
Nesting
time,
Rock,
it's
that's
pretty good.
great, right? Like that's
Yeah.
insane because you guarantee the taunt, and it's 4/7 on 5 is great. So if you can get that,
I mean, if you get a 4/6, like it's actually
yeah,
good.
you just need if you get a 4/6, and think about how many often you play a bruiser, secondary bruiser on 5, just because you want to just play it, right? Like that's your play.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if it's a 4/5, it's fine, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like a good play.
So
but
what
it's
would you
like,
what would you rate the card, Tex? What do you think? Is it like a 4, 3?
I think like a 4 or 5. Like I'd say like a 4 is probably a pretty safe bet.
Yeah.
Like you could say 5 because it has some upside.
I think I'll definitely like
But
not. Yeah. Okay.
I think a 4 is a safe bet because
Yeah,
like if you are top decking somehow, it's like absolute garbage. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd go with a 4 on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that it'll. I won't be looking to draft it, but you'll take it. That's kind of the way I look at it. You know what I mean?
well, we have no idea because we have no idea what they put buckets now, right? Like we.
Okay,
have to
that's
think about it
fair.
from the
Okay, I mean,
buckets.
yeah, we can get into that. That's
So,
true.
like every
Yeah.
card has to be looked through that lens. Like,
Yeah.
oh, this like would have been a card you would have taken because it's going to be up against worse cards. But now we have no idea because it could be put in the worst bucket and then you like take it every time. And if it's put in like one of the premium buckets, you're never going to take it. So
Yeah.
we have no idea.
All right, next card, Druid of the Scythe, 3 mana. Basically become a 4/2 rush or a 2/4 taunt. This is probably one of the better cards they've shown for Druid. It's not amazing like a 2/4 taunt, but I mean it lets you. The flexibility is nice. You can get like a 4 mana removal or 4 damage removal. So it's like could be like a Feral Rage that you don't have to take damage for, or like a whatever the old. I forget what the 2/4 taunt was from the last set, but you know that card. Squirming Tentacle.
Yeah, Squirming Tentacle. Yep.
But the flexibility is nice. I mean, if you need a
Yeah.
taunt in top deck mode, so like I think this card, I like this card. It's not insane, but it's it's serviceable. I'd give it like a 6 or something.
Oh, I think this card's a lot better than that. I think this card's really, really good. The option of having both a 3 mana for 4 damage is already fine.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I think that's especially because you're not taking damage, and having the option of switching it up for a 2/4 taunt. Now, do we know if both of them are beasts? I assume they are.
I think so.
Yes, most of these Druid of the are beasts, almost 100% sure. So yeah.
So if that's the case, I mean, I think this card is really strong. I think this is probably about an 8 for me. I would be excited.
Yeah, I like it. I definitely can see an 8. I guess I gotta get used to this.
I would say 7. So like I would split the difference. I think it's.
Yeah. I think it isn't a 6. I think 7 or 8 is probably more.
Yeah,
accurate.
I think it's a good card, and you're gonna want to take 3 mana for 4 damage is good, right?
Especially because all the other cards we're going to show you are going to suck, so you're going to love this card.
We still have to always preface that we don't know what brackets they're going in, so we have no idea if you're actually going to be taking these cards or not.
Yeah.
Like if they're in the bad brackets, you'll definitely take that card. That card's definitely much better than bad. So don't. But if it's in like the premium bucket, it probably won't be like you won't pass a UI for that. So like we have no idea.
Yeah. Splinter Graft, 8 mana, 8/8. Choose a friendly minion, add a 10/10 copy to your hand. I mean, if the meta's going to be slow, I mean, there's some powerful cards that could be. I mean, if you do this to like a fairy dragon, all of a sudden you have a
Chain Gang.
Yeah, Chain Gang. This is actually one of the better cards, and I mean, if the meta is as slow as we think, it should be. You should be able to once in a while get a decent hit. The 8/8 body for 8 is obviously not like fantastic, but the value is really good.
And this is an 8 mana 8/8 that draws you a 10 mana 10/10.
Yeah.
Like,
Sometimes you'll
get
get a high
ability.
roll with the target, but pretty much it's just very, very slow. If the format is really slow, or if this can replace 2 big cards as just 1 big card,
Right.
but honestly, it's fine. I think it's probably like a 5 or 6, but it might be a little better than that because it's probably more like a 7 because you're going to get so much value out of it. It reminds me of the 9 mana 5/5 from this set that summons the dude with the axe over his shoulder, and he summons a 3, a 2, and a 1.
Oakheart.
Oakheart, thank you, Master Oakheart. It reminds me of that. It's a ridiculously high value card, but it's very, very slow.
I think I'd give it something like.
I think
7.
Oakheart's a little more tempo based because it summons the cards immediately to the board and with the spread. So I think it's a little bit better than this card by quite a bit actually. But yeah, it does give you that a lot of value for 1 card. So I do think this is a good card. I think like a 6 or a 7. It depends on how slow the meta actually is.
Yeah.
The slower the meta is, the better this card will be.
Yeah, this is definitely meta dependent.
I do expect the meta to slow down, so I do think it's going to be good.
Yeah. Dustfall and Aviana, definitely not as good as the other Aviana. On each player, 5 mana, 3/7 on each player's turn. The first card played costs 0, so you'll obviously play this, and then your opponent gets to do whatever they want for 0. They have a UI in their hand, 0 mana. So you will not be taking this card ever.
Nope.
So this is like I'm not gonna take a ton of time on it, but I was actually trying to figure out if it's worse than Temporis. But I don't even care because it's just bad. So I'd give it like a 1.
Yeah, it's only good if your opponent's top decking and they're going to have all the mana they need anyway. So like that's the only time it's ever going to be playable.
And then you're gonna have all the mana you need too.
Yeah. Well, if you're not top decking but your opponent is, then it's playable, right? But besides that, it's like absolute trash.
Okay.
I don't like this card at all. I would really try to avoid putting it in my deck.
All costs. Witching Hour, 3 mana, summon a random friendly beast that died this game. I didn't get a chance to really evaluate like the amount of small beasts and stuff in general. Like it's still not a good card because it's just very, if it was like discover a random friendly beast that died, it would be serviceable, you know what I mean? But it's not good, I don't think. I'd say it's, a 2, 3 or something. I don't know.
I think with the beast we've seen so far is the switching sides one. So it's either a 3 mana 4/2 or a 3 mana 2/4 beast in that situation. The later the game, the better it gets too, because you're going to get more expensive beasts. But as soon as you start summoning 3 mana 1/2 poisonouses and 3 mana 1/1 violet worm tokens, like then it's going to be bad. So it might be very deck dependent. I think in the right deck, this deck can be a 5, or this card can be a 5, but in most decks, it's going to be about a 3 or a 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this card's not great just because it's just very the randomness really can hurt. But I think if you have a bunch of card generation, like you can and if the meta is really slow, like how often do you want to just not do much to the board and you're willing to just take the gamble if you have a bunch of extra cards? And I think it's one of the cards where you can basically send to its death if you have AoE, but while also adding pressure. And if you happen to high roll, it's really good. So I think it's one of those things where it's going to be playable, and it's going to be and if you have it in the right deck, it'll actually be pretty decent. But if you have a bunch of 1/1 tokens, it's going to be trash. So
yeah,
right.
It'll be like one of those cards where you either are forced to take it early and then kind of draft a little bit around it, or you take it really late when you realize that your deck kind of fits it or something.
Fits it.
You won't be. That's about the only time you'll be even considering it. And again, it'll depend on buckets and all that. But
yeah.
Where are these cards on? This makes me so sad. Every card I look at when I was watching it, the expansion, all the cards come out. I'm like, it's okay. They're just showing the bad druid cards first. It's fine. And then they just kept coming, and I'm like, then there was 2 left and 1 left, and I'm like, what? But okay. Anyway, 4 mana, 1/6 called Forest Guide. At the end of your turn, both players draw a card. It wouldn't be this the card. I mean, the stat. I mean, that's the text on the card wouldn't be the worst. We've had cards that draw cards for both people before. That's not so bad, but the stat line just isn't good. So
yeah,
if the stat line, I don't know, I guess
stat line's trash.
If it was a 4 mana 2/6, I guess it'd be maybe.
I'd play it if it was a 4 mana 2/6 a lot more often. There's a lot of times where I'll play a Hosen Healer when there's no minion to deal, just because it's something you can do. If with Forest Guide right now, I have no reason to play the card in my deck without wanting both players to draw a card. Are there enough ways to buff your hand in terms of numbers in your hand that you would want something like this?
Like that taunt thing we want to draw, right? So stuff like that. Is that
the only thing?
No, I think they have other
Whispering.
things.
There's another card coming
There's
out.
other cards they have, but it's it's not a good card. The stat line is just too poor.
Yeah.
It's not a good card.
All right, that's not. So it's a 2 or 3. I don't know. It's bad.
3. 2 or 3.
Yeah, I think
probably a 2.
Yeah,
All right.
3.
Witchwood Apple, 2 mana, add 3 2/2 treants to your hand. When I first saw this card, I was like, really? I guess the meta, if it's slow enough, I don't know. It's still not. You don't want to spend mana to put stuff in your hand all the time.
The treants cost 1 or 2. 1, right?
2.
They cost
Oh,
2. That's
God.
that's
Two
what
mana,
that's
two
why they
tools.
suck. I thought they cost 1, and if that was the
if they were
case,
like Ravens, they would have been okay, right? But they're 2 mana.
so you're having to
it's
invest
really
mana.
slow.
Yeah, it's just
It seems like the payoff for having cards in your hand is just so low.
Yeah, it's definitely a constructed thing as well. It's like you
Yeah.
can see it's constructed. It's a bad card, but it's one of those things where like if you happen to get enough of these synergy things, it could help. And it's like something you can play in the late game and get like a 6/6 body basically, or distribute it between. You play like a bad doppelganger for 8 mana. It's so bad. Like it's not a great card.
Yeah, if they cost 1, this would just be a better force of nature, and I would love it. It's a more flexible force of nature at 1, but it's at 2 mana.
Yeah,
per minion.
but you
It's
can't.
not exciting.
No.
all right. There must have been some kind of arena update. Maybe we'll talk about that at the end. Apparently they did some stuff, but we'll worry about that later. Okay, 4 mana Whispering Woods. Summon a 1/1 Wisp for each card in your hand.
So this is the payoff card, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is supposed to be one of the payoff cards. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a very good payoff.
That's the whole point. Is like it's not even good. Like
I mean, we play Call on the Finishers and Shaman and stuff, which was summon 4, and this should summon like 5 maybe. So
Yeah.
if
Oh
you, like,
no,
play
I
standing
think the card is. I actually think this card is totally fine.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
not
yeah,
It's not a bad card. I just.
but you don't think
as
it's
a
worth the
payoff-
detriment of the other cards. You mean?
Right.
Yeah. The other cards are just so bad. Like you don't want to take those cards just to make this card better.
But I love that they're doing. I love this. I love the idea of this mechanic, and I hope they keep exploring it in the next expansion because it's a really cool idea. And if they can convince me to put Forest Guide and Witchwood Apple in my arena deck, then I'm pretty happy about that. I just think this
must
set
be one
isn't
of
the one that's going to do that.
This must be one of the cards. Must be one of the reasons why they pulled Light Oracle and stuff. Like just this like thing from Constructed. That's why they wanted to do that. Like this mechanic.
yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Because like otherwise this would get a little bit too powerful, I guess.
Mhm.
Like you'd have a 4 mana 7/7 every time, easy.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that's why they did it. And it's like right now you maybe get a 4 mana 4/4 basically worth of stats distributed, or a 4 mana 5/5, which is like you can play Stand Against Darkness on 4. That's pretty good, right? So
Yeah.
the only difference is that you don't have Mark of the Lotus anymore, right? So it's
Yeah.
only the Power of the Wild, which will keep off your board, and Savage Roar. But
The
even if you have
prob-
one of those two, it's pretty good.
The problem with all these cards, though, when you top deck them, they're just so bad. If it's like, yeah. I mean, if the meta is slow enough again, that won't be.
I think the meta's slowing down, man. So I don't think it's as big an issue usually. But yeah, if you top deck these cards, they're really bad.
Yeah, because even if you top deck it, you're probably going to have 2 or 3 cards sometimes.
Yeah, it's
So
not great.
I'd say this is like a 2 or a 3. I don't know.
Oh, I think it's better than that, but
I mean, I don't know. I just don't think I'm going to draft it. Like I rate the cards not necessarily on their value, but like I'm not going to be looking to take this card probably.
I mean, I have no idea what bucket's in it. It's going to be in. Like, I have to like say that because like if it's in the trash bucket, I'll definitely take this card a bunch. But if it's in like premium bucket, I'm not going to take this card ever. So it depends on what bucket's in. I think it's like a 5 or a 6.
I'm not even sure if
Yeah,
I take it in that bucket.
So if it's making me 5/1/1s, I really like it. I think
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
I'd put it.
Right?
I think I'd put it at a 6 because it's not a great top deck late, but if I'm playing Druid, I'm gonna be forced to have things like Witchwood Apple in my deck, and that means it's likely I'll be forced to have something like that. So I think it could be okay. I like it at 6.
Like if the meta slows down enough, you're gonna try to take things that give you more cards, like Nourish and other things, UI and stuff. Where you're like, how often do you UI and then you have like 8 cards in your hand anyways, and then you can just play this and have a full board of 1/1s if you want.
But
So,
see,
like-
I don't even know if like I want a board of 1/1s. You know, like it's good if you have.
Yeah.
7.
It's not great. Obviously, you'll play your other.
That's just why I don't think I can rate it that high because like it's not really something that
I mean,
was
it's
like,
really annoying to deal with. Like, and if you have Power of the Wilds, it can be. It's like obviously better if you have stuff that works with it, with like Savage Roar, Power of the Wilds, and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's not gonna be a great card. It's never gonna be
Yeah.
like a 10. But
Yeah.
I think
Well,
it's like a 5 or a 6.
Okay.
A lot of the punishes for having 1/1s are disappearing too. Volcanic Potion, Maelstrom Portal, Twilight Flame Caller, all of those are
Yeah.
gone. So
Yeah.
So if they have to
there's
use a-
less punishes now.
Yeah, if they have to use like a Blizzard to deal with my 4 drop, that's fine with me, right? So
Yeah. Okay. This is next card is a odd even card, so they won't be in arena. We don't have to worry about it. We'll skip that. Okay, so that's all Druid. Got through Druid. And now to Hunter. But yeah, I think overall Druid will be a lot weaker. It really kind of depends on how much you're going to see the cards from the old sets. Like, it depends on the bonus and stuff, you know, like I don't know. We'll see. I think you're definitely going to take a hit, but the slow meta does favor some of the cards, like the slower form of Druid, so it may be better than I think it's going to be, but it's hard to say right now. So
It doesn't
I
help
like
if
this
the
card
cards
so
are
much,
good,
by the way.
but-
Do you want to introduce it? You can call it out.
Ooh, the Vile Brood Skitterer, 5 mana, poisonous, rush, 1 attack, 3 toughness, or health, excuse me, beast. Yeah, I love this card. It works with so many different things. It works with any beast buffs are unbelievable on this. It's roughly assassinate, as is, and it gets around untargetable things. It works with. There's so many weird synergies with it. Like Dire Frenzy already exists. That's a nice turn 9. Wing Blast works with this too. Some of the cards coming up really work well with this card. I love it. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, I don't know how much you're going to be able to. We'll get to Dire Frenzy, but the fact that you need a beast is going to make it hard to draft, I think. But I don't know. We'll see.
I think this card's a good card because it's like it's like assassinate, right? Except you can't get through taunts. But most of the time, as Hunter, you're going to want to kill first anyway, so it doesn't usually change what you're trying to kill, and so you can push the face. So it's pretty good.
This card
usually.
punishes druids even harder. Play their 1/6 that draws a card for each player at the end of turn.
Oh my god! I think this card's I think this card's at least an 8. Wouldn't you say?
I think it's about an 8. Yeah, this seems like a very good common. I like this card a lot.
I'd say like a 7 or an 8. I think it's good.
Yeah. All right. Next card, 5 mana, 3/7 dragon Carrion Drake. Battle cry: if a minion died this turn, gain poisonous. You know, it's a really tough poisonous minion to deal with, and I think the battle cry is pretty likely to happen most times. And the nice thing about this card in my mind is even if it doesn't happen, if you are top decking, like a 3/7 for 5 is not. It's not bad. Like, it's still a decent body and does something on the board, right? So like, it has a really high upside, and like its stat line downside is not even that bad. So I like this card. I think this is cool.
The battle cry sounds so easy to trigger. I mean,
that's what I mean. Yeah,
you just trade on
triggering it.
I guess
I think it's one of those things where because it's in Hunter, it's a little worse because it's a defensive Hunter card. So it's like they're trying to push this control Hunter thing going.
Yeah.
And if it's they're forcing it, right? But this card's so good statted. Like, I think with the ability to, like, just think about Venomancer, how like that card was totally playable, and this card just straight up much better than that.
Yeah.
If you think about the card that I think of in comparison to this card is Shadowpan Rider. It's a 5 mana 3/7 that if you do something ahead of time, it becomes better. And I like that a lot. I mean, it has infinite attack if it gets that. So I really think this card is cool. I don't think it's as defensive as all that because it really has infinite power.
Because of the poison, right? Yeah. But it doesn't go face, which is like, it's not like, unlike Shadowpan when you get the 6 attack, like that threatens face damage, right? Like they have to remove it. Like this,
you aren't killing your opponent faster because of this.
Yeah. If they just spread on this card, it doesn't do as much, right? Mm-hmm. So you can't just jam face with this. This is meant to like make your opponent play a bit, like clear it, right?
Yeah, that makes sense. I see what you're talking about slowing the game down. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really trying to force it, and I mean, it's a good card in this. And if the game slows down, so it should be a good card.
Yeah, I think it's at least. I was gonna say it's like a 7.
And it has a dragon tag, which is nice. And the 7 health means it can't be
dragon tag's only bad now.
What?
Isn't dragon tag just bad now because it's only Dragon Slayer and
historians? There's no other. No, there's a neutral dragon thing. So,
okay, cool.
But there's the dragon. There's stuff that buffs things too, right? So I don't know.
Do you guys think this is like a 7-ish, or what do you guys think number?
Yeah, like a 6.5, 7.
Okay.
I'd probably say 7 at least. Yeah. I think it's good.
I like the card design. I really like what I like is a lot of the cards they designed in this set have these kind of like abilities, but they're not punished if they don't go off. Like they're still like okay on their own. Like, so, like, arena-wise, it's nice. Okay, we were just talking about this one. Dire Frenzy, 4 mana. It gives a beast on the board +3/+3, and then you shuffle 3 copies of that beast into your deck with the buff. So it'll come back with the buff. So, I mean, I definitely, the one thing about this card, I was trying to think about it, like the 3/3 buff for 4 is fine. Like, it's all about if you're going to have beasts in your deck to actually hit it on is the big thing, because
Yeah.
the only reason that if this card was give +3/+3, and if it's a beast, it did the other thing, it would be a lot better.
Yes.
So like
yes.
that's the way I was like, damn. I thought that's the way when I first read it, and then when I read it again, I was like, oh damn, because like I still think it's okay. I don't know how to rate it like for arena because I'm not really sure how. Well, Kellen, you like this card, so you tell me what you think. I'm just not sure how much we're going to be able to hit it.
We have a pretty good comparison to this card in Falderai Strider. That card is obviously, I think Falderai Strider is quite a bit better. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But there is a pretty close comparison here, including the stats. Now, because if I'm just looking at the cards in the set, there's only 2 beasts being offered additionally. So I don't think it's actually that insane because I don't know if we're being offered a lot of beasts, it will be better. This is another card that reminds me of there was a card in Druid that was very deck dependent. Oh, the thing that returns a random beast. It's the same idea here. If you have a lot of decent early beasts, if you have, well, not Kindly Grandmothers, but Bloodfen Raptors and things, I would always be happy to draw a 2-mana 6/5 Bloodfen Raptor later in the game.
Right.
And taking, I don't know, but it's not as good as Blessing of Kings on the turn it comes out. So its card is probably not great just because of how situational it is, but in the right deck, I mean, put this on a Gastropod, you're pretty happy. Put it on a Basilisk, you're pretty. I mean, there's a lot of options where the buff is really, really important.
Well, they wanted they specifically made this card, I think, for a card we'll get to, which is the Hunting Mastiff, which we'll get to in a bit.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think? What would you rate this, guys? What do you think?
I think it's a role player, and it's a 4 or a 5 in a deck that's great for it, and it's probably just a 2 in every other deck.
Yeah.
I think like a 4 is probably as high as I want to go because it's really slow. I think it's okay. It's going to be better in the next meta because I think the meta is going to slow down quite a bit. But I think it's still really slow. But it'll get you a lot of value, and if you have the beast for it to support it, it can be playable, and it's like you're not going to be too upset for it because like if you just it's going to be really annoying when your opponent does it. Like I don't know how many hunters you're going to be facing because I don't think hunters going to be that good, but if when your opponent plays it on a beast and then the next like 2 or 3 draws are going to be their buffed beasts and then they like get out a lot of tempo and you just can't deal with it, that's going to be annoying. But
okay, next card, Rat Trap. I just say, without any evaluation, I absolutely love the flavor of this card. Like when I saw the art for this card, I loved it. So, but we'll talk about the actual card value because that's what we're here for. 2 mana Rat Trap. It's a secret. After your opponent plays 3 cards in a turn, summon a 6/6 rat. Thoughts, guys? What do you think?
Yeah. I just kind of It's one of those secrets where your opponent's going to be able to check for it way ahead of time because the turn if you play it early, they're going to not be able to trigger it anyways, and if you play it late, then they're going to be able to check with everything else to find out what it is before they ever have to run into it. I don't love it. I do like it. Like some chat saying it is great at punishing Echo, but that's such a niche little thing to do. I don't think it's a good enough card there. I would rather have almost any other secret.
Yeah, I don't think it actually punishes Echo because like you're not going to play your Echo cards early enough in the game where like you're going to test for the other secrets before this comes out. Like you test for this one most of the time, right? So you're not going to actually use your Echo cards until you've already tested for the other ones most likely. So then you're just not going to proc it until you can deal with it. So like I don't think it actually...
It does make the other secrets more interesting. And I do like that it's a secret that gets procced in a totally different way. So it means your opponent's going to have to do more things to check your secrets. And if your opponent slows down to check secrets, then you're in a happy position as a hunter. The problem is you have to slow down to play this secret too. So
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like I don't think it's great, but the fact that they have it is good for Hunter, right? Just because it limits your opponent's play. Because like that's one of the things I like about secrets. Like, well, from when I play the secrets, and it's super annoying to play around.
Yeah.
Is when you play it, it like really forces your opponent to like, okay, check 1, check 2, check 3, and then you play another secret, and they go check 1, check 2, check 3. And having this in the pool is really good for Hunter, just because it makes your opponent have to limit how he plays. Obviously, in like the first week or two, you're going to see a lot of people just like by accident activate it or do stuff like that, and then face palm and just be like so upset. But it's one of those things like after you accidentally do it, you're just gonna not do it again, most likely.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
So
I'm with you.
probably pretty low rating for you guys. Ish.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like it's good for Hunter, but it's not actually a great card you want to pick up always.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Next card. 4 mana, Wing Blast. Deal 4 damage to a minion. If a minion died this turn, which they seem to be doing a lot of that with these cards, this costs 1.
This card is so good.
Yes.
It's like
Oh.
it's the tempo they need so desperately. I mean, unfortunately, I don't think it's going to save them, but from their untimely demise in Arena this expansion. But it's still a good card.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it's very good.
it's a good one. It's like, I mean, it does so much damage. It's so cheap. 1 mana 4 damage. It's nuts. It's the most damage you've ever had for that little.
And
We've never had
it's
anything like that before.
It's like the Spellstone for a druid, but then like you don't have to have this like super hard condition
Yeah.
to proc it. Like you gaining 3 armor is much harder to do than trading off 1 minion, right? Like you just trade 1 small minion on your side of the board, and now you have 1 mana 4 damage.
Well,
that should be very flexible.
It's just funny because like they tried for a while, maybe because these cards didn't work, but like that as well as they maybe thought they would. But like they had Dragon's Breath, like cards where you had to like it was the amount of minions that died caused like this amount of reduction, and this is like okay, I trade a 1/1. Okay, it's 1 mana. It's like so.
Honestly, it feels like you trigger this card by performing normal game actions. So
yes, yeah. So that's why it's so good. Because like one mana for 4 damage is really strong.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be always 1 mana for 4 damage.
This has got to
unless you,
be
like,
at least. I don't even know. Maybe it's a 10, but it's got to be at least a 9.
I don't think it's a 10, but
I was thinking-
no, if I'm saying 10 for Tarim, I think this is a 9.
yeah, like if I want like UI or Tarim.
I was just testing
Really
you
good
guys.
like that.
I thought 9 too.
But that's how good it is. It's 1 step below those cards. That's how
Yeah,
good
so
this card
I
is.
think this card's very good. I think it's like
Yeah.
either a 9. Right?
Yeah, 8.5 or 9 for sure, something like that. Okay. Toxmonger, 4 mana, 2/4. Whenever you play a 1-cost minion, give it poisonous. This is just too conditional for my taste. To like.
I don't know. I would have thought so, but I'm starting to see some reasons to be taking. No.
Stone
Yeah,
Tusk
you're right.
Boar, man. Got to take that boar value.
Oh,
I want
wow.
the Tolvir Warden now. Is there a Tolvir Warden Hunter deck? Are we
I don't
going
know.
full Tolvir Warden?
Elven Archer, man. OP with this
Oh my
card.
god, that's insane. No, wait, no. Battlecry triggers first. Dang it, that doesn't work.
Does it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
it
battle
does.
cries always trigger before stuff
Darn.
happens.
Man, you can't even do
Ah.
that. That sucks. This card's a 2.
That's too bad. That's the coolest thing to do.
Yeah.
Or is it? Or no, wait a minute.
Whenever
it's-
your cost, give it poison. No, if your minion has poison, like doesn't it check after? I don't know how that works then.
No, it has
It
to
does,
work
right?
regardless.
Doesn't it
So
work?
it's whenever. It's not after you play a minion. So it's
Yeah.
ahead of time. Okay.
If it said after you play this, then it
No, it's
wouldn't work,
because
right?
it's because it says whenever. Because it says the
Yeah,
word
yeah.
whenever. That's
Yeah,
the
that's
key
what-
word. Yeah, you're
So
right.
like Elven Archer is good.
Okay.
Stone Tusk Boar is good. Those type of cards are going to be strong. Fiery Bat, if you get that on.
What
that,
about
then
wait?
more
What about
damage.
Oh damn! It's too bad you can't like somehow.
Is Fiery Bat still in the
Oh,
meta?
it's-
I don't even remember.
No, Fire Bat
No,
left.
no.
That
It's
was
out, right? Yeah.
That's why we went over them.
Yeah.
I got my list.
I was like, wait, that card doesn't.
I
That's,
know. I
I
guess.
keep thinking that oh well, you probably won't see it that much, but that doesn't matter anymore. That's
Yeah.
funny.
yeah,
Creator-
still not
And
like
the
that.
stat line on this is obviously just it's
Yeah,
it's
the stat line's
mana
bad.
Yeah.
before it's a mana and a half understated, right?
So you guys want to
Yeah,
give it like? What do you guys
it's-
want to give it like a 3 or something? Or
Yeah, probably a 3. You can still put it in your deck.
Yeah, I think 3 is fair because like
Oh.
and there's games where you have it hit and it's like
Yeah.
game winning, and then there's like every other game it's going to be bad. So like,
Yeah. Some people were saying about the stream quality again. I have it set to max because I'm making a YouTube video, and I guess my settings or my I don't know whatever to get the like so people can change the source is not on. So you can always watch the VOD, or I'll have it up on YouTube if it's really that bad.
It looks fine on my end, I think. So
Yeah,
I think
it
you
was.
should,
Like I
I
said,
think you should lower your resolution if you're lagging on your end.
yeah. Okay. Duskhaven, 3 mana. Can you? Oh, you guys can't see the mouse when I do that. Okay, never mind. 3 mana, 2/5 stealth. Duskhaven Hunter. Each time this is in your hand, swap its attack and health. So, yeah. What do you guys think? I think it's.
Oh, this card is so good.
This card's
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah, I was like thinking like I used to take Shadow Rager here and there, and this actually has 2 health. So when
Yeah.
it's in that form,
It's good. It's Druid of the Flame without the. It just doesn't. It's Druid of the Flame without the with stealth basically, and it's like Jungle Panther with stealth but better. So it's
Yeah.
good. It's good.
Right. This
Yeah.
card is already better than an average card just because of
Yeah.
because it's stat line. So it's going to be. I mean, it's got to be at least a 6, right? So I
Yeah.
think it's probably closer to 7 because you have control
Yeah.
over which
Yeah.
turn you play it.
Yeah.
yeah.
It-
Do you guys think it's gonna get awkward though? Like when you want to play it one way, but you
Yes.
can't.
Yes, it will.
That's
But
the thing that I don't I'm in terms
So-
of feeling it out. I'm kind of been thinking about that.
So on curve, it'll be a little awkward, but in the late game, you can just play it when you want, right? Because like the meta should slow down enough where you gotta just wait till the turn you want to play it, and because you know when it's gonna be which one, you can just plan out your turns a little bit better, and just like it incentivizes you to plan your turns better for this
Yeah.
card. But yeah, it as a curve card, it's a little more awkward because it's just
Okay.
you can't really control that
Yeah.
when you draw it.
All
The
right.
thing is, I'd be happy to if it's just curving out. I'm happy on either side. I'm happy.
Yeah,
with
yeah,
it,
exactly.
but I'll
Because
be
you can
happy
use the
with either
5/2 to
side.
kill a 4-drop, and you can use the 2/5 to kill a 3 or
Right.
2-drop, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
All right.
exactly.
Emerus, 10 mana, 8/8, double the attack and health of all minions in your hand. When I first saw this card, I think I thought that it was like in your deck too. I didn't realize it was just your hand. So
Yeah,
this is pretty bad.
It's just
I mean,
too
it's
slow.
a strong effect, but
Yeah, we'll see how slow the meta is, but it feels too slow. Like it doesn't seem good.
I just don't want cards in my hand as on turn 10. I'd rather not have any cards. They were on the board attacking my opponent.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it really depends on how slow the meta is. Like if it's they're really trying to push this control type archetype for Hunter, and like this is one of the cards that like is supposed to make it work, but
yeah,
Would you guys say
it's
this
just
is
not
like
doing
a-
it for me.
I feel like it's like a 3.5 or maybe a 4. I mean, it's not like the effect is strong, but it's slow. I don't
yeah,
know.
it's a really strong effect.
It's hard to
So
it's hard to rate it because like if the meta's slow enough, like it could blow out a game, but I don't think that's going to happen very often. Maybe I should say a 3. I don't know. It's hard to rate it because of
I don't think it's a 4. I think it's probably a 3. Just
yeah. I
'cause
think
it
the
is too
one I
slow.
thought about a 3 seems to make more sense. All right, here's a fun. Go ahead.
Okay.
What do you think, Cal?
It feels like a 4.
You think so?
It's
Yeah.
just it just has enough. It's the same a similar reason to the Splinter whatever.
Okay.
Just the number of stats is a lot. I don't think that's good, and it's not a card you actually want in your deck either. But if the game is slow and you just have 10 mana to spend, it's going to be enough value that it'll have a huge impact. But
That's true. Yeah, if it's slow enough, you can just play it, and then your opponent knows he's on a clock because he then has to deal with all your pressure cards that come after. That's true.
And you'll always have Hunting Mastiff in your hand when you play it, right?
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah. See, why didn't I think of that? Obviously,
Yes.
just have those cards.
All right, so hunting
So
massive.
simple. Why didn't I think of that? Just obviously just take 3 of those cards and have those in your hand.
I mean, that's just the way to go.
Yeah. Hunting Mastiff, 2 mana, 2/1 beast, Echo Rush. So could potentially remove a 10/10 on turn 10 with it. You know, it's a good card. I mean,
I
definitely.
think it's good.
I guess like I was thinking like even if like let's say they have a little board and you're kind of at the end of the match and like I mean sure like the cards might not even hit every time, like they might just go out and sit there, but like that's not really a bad thing. You still have a board. You know what I mean? So I think this card's really good. So
right. It basically for me it's deal 2 or 4 mana to deal 2 or 4 damage to a minion, and then use the rest of your mana to summon. I like that card a lot. This probably isn't the best hunter card because of Wing Blast, but it might not be better than Vilebird's Skitterer either. But it's really, really good. It's really good. That's a lot of damage with a lot of initiative.
Would you say it's
I think they're trying hard to make this card work, and I think it's good. I like, because like the Frenzy is really good with this. Like other cards that you might be forced to take are just really strong with this. So I think it's just a strong card in general.
Yeah.
Like, how often do you just use a bluegill to trade on turn 2 anyways? Like, if you want to do that, you can play it on 2, it's fine, right? And if you play it later in the game, you have a lot of stuff to do with your mana. You play like 4 of them and hero power, right? Or whatever, if you need to take this. So it's like, it's good.
Yeah. Guess it's a, I don't know if you want to say
7 or so?
I was going to say 7-ish, maybe a little higher.
Would you say 7?
I'd go 8. I think it's an 8.
I think a lot of these cards, again, rating-wise, like, in certain situations, they're a little better. In certain situations, they're a little worse.
Dependent always.
All these Echo cards are, the later the game goes and the slower the match goes, the better they get.
Right.
So, here's one of my favorites. I love when they release this card. Okay. 4 mana, 3/6, Houndmaster Shaw, the one that gives all your minions rush. It's like a, how do I explain it? It's like a, like Tundra Rhino, like some people don't like that card. I was okay with taking it here and there. Like, I was one of those people that would draft it once in a while. Probably more than some would. And like, this is just like by far better.
Yeah, it's
like,
just straight up.
Like, it's just straight up. Like, I like that card, and even though a lot of people didn't, but this is just like so much better. Like, I can't believe they gave this a premium stat line. Like, a 4 mana 3/6 is like, I'm shocked that they didn't like.
They're really trying to make Control Hunter work, man. It's so obvious.
Yeah, they're trying really hard. So like, I don't know what bucket this will be in and what it'll be up against, but you'll draft this a lot.
Yeah, it's got to be in the Lich King and all those guys. The nuts legendaries. This card is just the ability to give your minions charge, as we saw on Rhino, was good. I mean, that's why that card was good. And this card is so much better that it's +1/+1 and drop a mana. That's nuts.
Yeah.
You would happily play this on 4 without having any minions in your hand, you know?
Yeah,
it's
like
good.
Look at how good the Cobalt's monk stat line is, just in general. So like that's just so strong. So like, and giving all your minions rush, like you can just play like anything. It's so good. Like if you play a Gastropod the next turn, you get a free trade or whatever. It's just it's so
honestly,
strong.
we have a really limited number of cards with blunderbusses on them, and this really changes that. I appreciate that as well.
I'm gonna craft this gold, I think. Kelbling. Yeah. This card's got to be at least a 9, right?
Yeah, I think it's a 9. You drafted it. You want it.
I think it's a 9 because like 10 has to be like game winning.
Yeah, like it has to be like Lich King, like game breaking type of. Actually, yeah.
I don't know, but I think it's definitely better than 8. Like it's like super premium. It's like premium.
All right, we're going through next class. We're getting there. We're going. All right, you guys ready? Here we go. Mage, Snap Freeze, 2 mana. I guess they decided Shatter wasn't good enough, so they were going to push it a little bit.
They were right.
It's such a power creep on Shatter. It's hilarious. 2 mana Snap Freeze.
Cards like that in this expansion where it's like they just made up a straight up better version of a previous card, and I'm like, feel bad, man.
2 mana to freeze a minion. If it's already frozen, destroy it. You can compare this to like Freezing Potion. Is that what it was called? The 0 mana freeze? Is that what that was called? Freezing Potion?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you can kind of.
So I'm doing a quick glance over all of the cards that have been that are in this set, and literally no other cards have an interaction with freeze. So I'm going to go ahead and say this card isn't very good because there's just not going to be much that works with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not going to be great. It's definitely still. You can still pick it. It's like. Because like the freeze effect allows you to push face damage when that's how I like to use the freeze effect often. It's like I just like can freeze something, like you know how many times you can like ice lance a minion just so you can pressure your opponent with like your Adventure Co or whatever, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So like I think just having
synergy.
the freeze effect is pretty nice, and then the fact that it has another ability is okay.
So how many Ice Walkers do you need before you pick a Snap Freeze?
A lot.
Yeah.
So what is this, like a 2 or 3 or something? I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think it's,
this is another role player for me. It's kind of like a
Yeah.
yeah.
If
If you have the
have the
Blizzards,
deck
the
for
Frost
it.
Novas, those type of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I think it's like a 3,
All right.
maybe.
All right.
Probably a
Curio
2 for me.
Collector.
I think it's a 2, but then a 3 or 4.
Yeah, in a specific deck, it
Right.
can be higher. Yeah, I got you.
All right. Curio Collector. 5 mana, 4/4. Whenever you draw a card, gain 1/1/1+1. So,
It's close. It's close to being good. I think it's not good. It's hard. It's hard.
I think
to
it
say.
is good. I think it's
Yeah?
good. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think.
Are you? I mean, if you have a loot hoarder in play or something,
If
great,
you have
but-
so it's because of the things that they like the Book of Spectre. We'll get to that card, but the Book of Spectre, like, it's gonna make it really strong. I think.
yeah.
Like, you won't be playing this as a 5-drop. Like, you just won't. So
Okay, so this is a I flipped 4 times, and now we got to play a minion.
yeah,
last a while.
I flip the board. I play a minion. I develop.
gotcha.
Force them to deal with it. It's a threat. Like, if anything, it's just a threat they have to deal with. If you play it on 5, though, it's not great. So it's not like
Here's-
a premium card.
Here's my problem with it. Daring Reporter was decent.
Yeah,
but cost, and this card is identical to Daring Reporter in most scenarios. But you have more control over it though. So it's
Yes.
better if you have the ways to draw cards. But it's quite a bit worse at 1 mana worse, right? You still start at a 4/4 on your opponent's turn. I'm not feeling this card too much. I do agree that it feels more like Ethereal Arcanamancer or Arcanist.
Yeah.
Ethereum Arcanist. The secret.
Yeah. It's closer to that than it is to Reporter. I
So
guess.
so for me, it's probably like a 4.5 or a 5. I guess just a 5.
Yeah.
I think it's a threat that it's going to be better because the meta's slowing down. Because if the meta slows down, your opponent's not going to have as much stuff on the board, so they have to use a hard remove to get
Well,
rid
like,
of it usually.
Text, like, give me,
That's okay.
like, where's the situation? Like, what turn? Like, where's this card good that you see it? I just want to, like, I want to see it from, like, the way you're thinking. Like, is it like
So,
turn
like, if
8?
you're ahead on the board and
Okay.
then you develop this minion, they have to use a hard removal to get rid of it. Because if they don't, then it can spiral out of control, right?
Okay.
And if you're not ahead on the board, you flip the board and then you play it, right? Or you play it and then you draw 3 cards. You play your draw
Yeah.
with it, and then it becomes a 5 mana 7/7 or whatever, or a
Yeah.
5 mana 6/6.
Okay.
So it's
Okay.
it's not a good card. Like, I
Yeah.
don't want to take it over other good cards.
you will, everybody,
But depending on
yeah.
what bucket it is, I might take it a lot.
Yeah.
Like,
You-
in the
Sure.
trash bucket, I might take it a lot.
Like,
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, if it's up against bad cards, I like this card a lot more than them because especially if you're a more experienced arena player, you'll know when to play this card. So
Exactly.
I agree with that.
'Cause
Right, and it- yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
identifying when it's good to play. It's one of those things where it's like Kovir Raider, right? You have to like that card that's in Wild, right? Like, where you have to ping to make
Right.
to buff it. It's one of those things where it's a win condition that when you know when to play it on curve and know when to play it with the ability, right? So,
Right.
like, it's one of those things where it benefits to know when you have to play it.
like maybe your
So-
opponent's down on cards and you know they have like 1 fireball or something, and like you play it knowing that I'm gonna get rid of this fireball because that's like you can use it. You can use its power.
Use it to bait out a harder removal or something.
Yeah, yeah,
right?
I think
and then
that-
you play your bigger.
Okay, I
I think it's better than most people are going to give it
Okay.
credit. But I don't
So-
think it's like
okay.
OP by any means.
Right,
Like,
right,
it's
right.
definitely,
Yeah.
it
I think
depends
if-
on what bucket it's in is whether you're going to pick it.
I think
or not,
it's
though.
I think 5's fair. I'm glad that I asked you that because I think that gave me a better perspective on the card. So cool. All right, let's go to the next one. Cinderstorm, 3 mana, super arcane missiles. Deal 5 damage, randomly split among all enemies. What do you guys think about this card?
Totally
Yeah.
fine. It's a fine
Yeah.
card.
I don't
It's-
like it.
I think
Actually,
it's Oh yeah, I think it's like a 5. It's not a card I'm super excited about, but I mean I like arcane missiles, and this this feels a lot like a 3 damage removal spell.
yeah, that's what it's supposed to be. I don't like
yeah.
it though.
If your opponent goes, honestly, it feels kind of like Volcanic Potion to me. It's just gonna kind of do damage. The problem, if it couldn't hit face, it'd be so insane. But since
Yeah.
it can, you could. I'm not gonna want this card in my deck because I really don't like random stuff.
Did you
Unless
ever-
it's Mad Bomber.
Did you ever guys
But,
look at... Yeah, yeah.
But
Sorry.
but it's still I can see that there will be times I'm going to lose to this card a lot. I'm going to lose to it a lot in the arena.
This is one of those flashy cards that bad players will just take every time. So like my thought on it is like, what's the 3-mana 2/1 that does the arcane missile?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about.
What's that card called? Okay, yeah. Like I thought that I underrated that card. All I can say is, I think this card is going to be better than I think it is. Like, when I look at it, like, I have a feeling that this card is going to surprise me a little bit. I'm not saying that it's great, right? I'm just saying that it's going to be a little bit better than, like... I give this card, like, a 4 or something. I don't know.
I think this card
Maybe
gets worse as you get better.
Yeah.
Can talk about how random effects are not as good when you have when the higher your win rate gets, because they bring your win rate closer to the average result of the card, and usually the better you are at the game, you can get your win rate higher than that percentage.
Yeah.
So I think for the if you're making the top 10 of the leaderboard or top 50 consistently, Cinderstorm's not going to be as good. But if you're not doing that, which is most of us, then it's going to be a lot better. And I think there's a lot of it can be a pretty good card. If you're going to win games, you shouldn't win because of this card if you play it early.
This card's going to infuriate you, let me tell you that.
I think the card is playable, and I don't, and like you can like AoE the board. They have a couple big minions left with like small health, and you play this to finish them off, right? So like it has good upside. I don't like the card though, like in general, because like I think the meta is going to slow down enough that like cards like this are going to get worse. So I think the card is like pickable if it's in a bad bracket, like if it's up against trash. But if it's up against decent cards, I'm probably never going to pick this card.
Yeah. All right. Arcane Keysmith, 4-mana 2/2. Its battle cry is discover a secret and put it into the battlefield. When I first saw this card, I was like, eh. But like when I thought about it, I guess it's a little better than my initial thoughts.
I love this card. Yeah.
All right, I think this card's very good, except I don't know how often it's actually going to work, because there's a new neutral card that destroys all enemy secrets.
What?
Yeah, and it has a good stat line, so we're gonna see that a lot.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that. Yeah.
So I think of this card. I compare Arcanologist quite a bit. Now one of the huge advantages of Arcanologist is that it's a curve card, right? This card is a curve card. It's just you want to see more 2-drops, not more 4-drops typically. So I think this card is very powerful because you are getting two cards for 1, and the mana is right. The mana is right on it, right? Like you're actually a stat above where you should be. Yeah. So I think this card is probably about a 6 or 7 because of just from raw cards and stats, it is good.
Yeah, I mean,
there's no arguing that it is not good on that front.
Yeah, and you discover it too, right? Which makes it even better.
It's not a random one,
You either evaluate this as like a 1-mana 2/2 that gives you the secret for the right cost, or like a 2-mana 2/2 that like you get a discount on the secret. So like either way, it's good. So.
Yeah, I just don't know how often you'll see a card that destroys secrets. So, and because it has a good stat line, if it's in the premium bucket, you may not see it, but if it's in a bad bucket, and you're going to see it every single time, every game almost. So, like,
I think
card
I
that's
would
worse or
probably
better
play
based
this.
on that.
There's a lot of cards I would take over. I'm sorry. There are a lot of cards I would take this over that are in a decent card bucket. Like depending on my curve. If I'm in a missing 4s, I would probably take this over a mediocre 3-drop in like a mind control tech or something like that.
Yeah.
So I think from that, if that's the situation, honestly, I would probably take that over control tech every time. Maybe not. I have to think about that.
Well, let's think about this card.
I think it's playable. I think it's like a 5 or 6. I think it's probably at least a 6. Like it really depends on how much secret hate we get. I think it depends on whether it goes up or down.
The other thing is like when you're drafting mage, like sometimes it's awkward because like you see a secret and you're like, well, it's a good secret, but it's not necessarily better than this other card. But like here, you don't have to worry about. It's like you get to draft the secret in the game.
Exactly.
So like
it gets
that part of it, I like. All right, so we'll say it's like a 5 or 6. All right, next card.
I think it's a playable card. I think it's
it's definitely playable.
Like,
This card I think is really good. Bonfire Elemental, 5-mana 5/5. If you played elemental last turn, draw a card. Obviously, stat line is fine. It's an elemental tag, and like it's gonna trigger. So like this card's pretty good, I think. Like pretty damn good. What do you guys think?
Yep. That's a good one.
Yeah.
It's I mean it's. Did you guys play? Oh yeah, you guys did with the dragon. Good old dragon, Azure Drake.
Mm-hmm.
Yup.
Yeah, this is not as good as Azure Drake from a card value perspective, but there's gonna be a lot. I mean, already I get offered, don't take. This card makes me want to take them, and elementals are usually pretty good for your curve.
Yeah.
So, Bonfire Elemental it makes me want to draft cards that I already want to draft, and it's a decent stat. I mean, I've played a lot of Spiked Hog Riders and other cards, Corrosive Sludges lately, and this card seems so much better than this. So I think this card is, without even having a ton of elementals, it's probably a 6 if you have like 1 or 2 elementals, and if you have a lot, it goes up to a 7.
The thing that's crazy.
I think it's really good.
Oh, I do too. Yeah.
Because like if you like Water Ellie's on curve, Fireplume Phoenix is on curve. Like there's so many good curve. If you have Tar into
Steam
Coin
Surger,
Mist, it's really good. It's so strong, and the fact that like you'll be seeing the Spellstones now too, because like the Spellstone's in the bad bucket. I don't know if it stays in the bad bucket, but if it's in the bad bucket right now, right? Isn't it? I think.
Yes, it is. So is Igneous Elemental.
So like if you take this and you get more element, because like this is also an elemental, so like it procs that as well. So it's like it's pretty nice with that.
I think this is a 7, a solid 7.
Yeah, I was gonna say 7.
Down 1 based on your.
Yeah, it can go up or down 1 or so.
Yeah. One thing I like about this is like they really pushed the elementals in this last year. So like the last set's leaving, and like I feel like you're gonna see like a boost in the elementals overall. It does depend on the buckets, obviously, but you know. And by the way, for people watching, when we say buckets, which we've been saying a lot, that's basically right now. There's a drafting system. I'll go over real quick where they put the cards in tiers and they're always together. So we're just talking about the different like tiers that they put them in. But yeah, this card's really good. Definitely a 7. All right, next card. Archmage Rugal. I don't know if I said that right. 2 mana 2/2. Whenever you draw a minion, it's a legendary. Add a copy of it to your hand. It's pretty good. I mean, solid. Does something.
It's a good card, yeah.
I mean, you generally have at least 70 to some % minions. Like you're not even in a slower deck. You're not like 50% spells or anything. So like you're gonna on average be drawing minions, right? So this card will give you some really good value, and value is gonna be important. So and it's cheap value. Like you can play this for 2 mana on like turn 8 and like double Arcane Intellect or something, or play that other card that draws minions. Like this card, you'll be wanting to take it.
I think this card's very good.
I think this is at least I want to say it's like an 8.
Oh, I don't know. There seems like a lot of is going to be a 2 mana 2 that dies, which isn't bad. Like if it's like a Keleseth in a bad deck, a number of times it will be like that. But there will also be cards where it's a better loot. There are games where it's a way better loot order. So,
I think with the meta slowing down, it's going to be really good. I think 8 is. I think it might even be a 9. Yeah, I think it's.
Wow. Yeah, I would have said 7 on this, and I think that's
pushing
that's
it.
optimistic.
I think it's really good with the cards at the major spectrum. I think Arcane this, and I think the if you just play it on curve, right? Your opponent usually doesn't answer it, and they play a minion to counter, right? So you always draw 1 card usually, and then if it's a minion, you usually get that, so you get a copy. So you already get value off it on curve usually, and then if you have removals to protect it, it's insane.
Yeah, so it does feel a lot like Shaku if you get it to keep
exactly. It's it can just win you games. That's why I think any time a 2-drop can just win you a game, I think it's really good. So I think it's kind of I think it's really good. I think it's either an 8 or a 9. I think it's really solid.
I'm gonna hold my 7 here. I think it's just gonna die.
Old line. Yeah, I'm in between you guys. I think the card's good. I do think that I think depending on people's play styles and the way they're drafting, this card will get better or worse. As with any card. So I think it's decent. It's definitely a good card.
Yeah, I think it goes up in value just because I think it slow
Yeah.
down. If
And
it stayed
Yeah.
aggressive meta, I think it would be definitely worse. But I think
Okay, here's a card that makes it go up in value.
Good.
2 mana. Book. I was gonna say this is funny. That's the next card. Book of Specters.
God.
2 mana, draw 3 cards, discard any spells drawn. And like if you discard on average, I guess you're maybe gonna discard 1 spell and like draw 2 minions. Like that's probably a fairly average result, I think.
Oh yeah. And
so
we're not planning on drafting the spells that are in this set anyway. So this card seems really strong to me.
Yeah,
it's really good. Because
if your deck is 10 spells, that is almost impossible. First of all, and if it is, then you're still drawing 2 cards, right? So it's better than Arcane Intellect by a lot in that situation. There is the small chance you low roll, but overall, this card, I mean, man, it is it is powerful.
And the other thing is like
3 cards. My God.
And like when you yeah, I saw the frame drops, guys. That was that might have been my internet. When you like, if you're in like the top deck mode, like you don't even really want spells. You want minions. Like you want to put a board down. So like this card's just good. Like it's just good.
Yeah,
there's not even much to say about it.
I think it's really good. Like you're gonna draw at least 2 cards, right? Because like you're not gonna, your deck's gonna be mostly minions for the most part. So you're gonna draw 2 of the 3 cards usually, and in the games where it draws 3, it's insane. But like if you draw 2 for 2 mana, draw 2 is good. So
all right.
This seems like an 8 to me. It's just a
I
solid
agree.
card. I'm gonna draft much every time.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I love it.
All right. Toki Time Tinker. 6 mana, 5/5. Battlecry, add a random legendary minion from the past to your hand. I don't know. It's a meme card.
It's probably good though, right? It's
not I know it's a meme card, but it's not like terrible.
I think it's good.
Yeah.
We won't see it very often because it is a legendary.
Yeah.
So it's probably a 6.5-ish kind of card.
I think it's better than that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It could totally be.
Because like it's like you lose 1 stat line to draw, but you draw a card guaranteed, and most legendaries are pretty decent, right?
Yeah,
and
that's fair. Yeah, I'm up to a 7.5, 8 somewhere.
Yeah,
there.
yeah. I don't think it's like a 9. I don't think it's like that good. I think 7.5 is pretty good. Like 7.5, 8.
Yeah, I give it a 7.
Because like especially if the meta keeps slowing, like I said, if the meta slows down, like I'm expecting, this card goes up in value because it plays a threat. Like a 5/5 is a body you have to deal with. You can't just ignore it, and it like gives you another card. So I think it's pretty good, and it could be any legendary from the past, which is like wild. So that's what it's like means, right?
And that does not include classic and basic, right?
I'm not sure about that. Maybe someone in chat can answer, but
I can't remember. If
it's
better,
it's gonna be
because
good.
Typically, I mean that's where all the low rock shows are. Set legendaries are usually better, so I like it.
Yeah, it's gonna be annoying when you play this and then someone gets like a Sneeds or Dr. Boom or something.
There's a decent amount of bad ones though. I don't know. I just don't think I'm not as high on this card just because of the randomness of it, but I think it'd be okay.
You know what I want to get off of this? I want to get King Varian Rin. I never got to when it was around, and it was my favorite legendary ever.
That's funny. All right. Vexcro, 4 mana, 3/3. Whenever you cast a spell, summon a random 2-cost minion. I mean, later in the match, this card could potentially do.
This is an interesting one because it's from a stat perspective. If you get to cast 1 spell, it's a good card, right? You're average.
Yeah.
So it's 4 mana, 5/5. So it's good if you can cast 1.
Yeah,
card.
it's like it's conditional, but it's not necessarily a difficult condition to meet, right? You know.
I mean, the spells they added are a couple of them. Like the book is really what you're gonna want to play. So it's like basically that or the old spells that we had because we don't have a lot of cheap spells right now. So I don't think it's insanely good, but it's any time you play a card that forces your opponent to deal with it or this spirals out of control. I think it's I think it's definitely like pickable, and you're gonna be happy if it's in a
Shrieking
decent
Tome was a great
bracket.
example of that. We all found that.
Yeah, exactly.
That card can take over a game if you don't deal with it. So you have to spend a Flame Geyser, spend a weapon charge on a little 1/2.
Yeah, gibberer.
Yeah.
Ugh.
All right.
So what do you guys think of that card? What do you guys want to rate it? Just curious.
Probably I think it's again a really down card, but probably a 6. I think I'd pick it over a Yeti most times.
Personally, for me, I'd say
You
like a
think so?
5.
Yeah, I think I would go with a 5 as well. I don't think I'd pick a
5 seems
solid
okay.
stat line.
I'm too
But-
afraid to like go higher, but it might be better than I think.
Yeah, the slower the meta is, the better it'll get, right? Because then you can
Yeah. Yeah.
do what you want, right?
Yeah. All right, Black Cat.
Valentine.
I really wish you were in Arena, but you're not going to be. So peace, Mr. Black Cat.
Peace.
All right, so we got through Mage. All right, we're through 3 classes. What time is it? Are we like okay on time? We're doing all right.
Sure.
I don't know. We're trying.
We're getting through them.
All right, Hidden Wisdom for Paladin. We're on to Paladin now. After your opponent plays 3 cards in a turn, draw 2 cards. I mean, it's just to me, it's just a little too conditional to get the value. I wouldn't draft this a ton. I don't know what you guys
Yeah,
think.
it's bad.
I would say it's like a 2, 3. Maybe I'm being too hard on it, but
I don't ever want to take.
okay.
I don't want to take this card.
All right, let's
I
move-
think,
we'll-
I think it's a 2 or 3.
All right.
Like I agree, it's not a good card, and like
Yeah.
the only reason it's good is it like makes your opponent play around it, right? So like
Yeah.
it means your opponent can't play multiple cards to try to stop you from drawing, right? So like
Right.
Yeah.
that's like the only reason it's like not a 1.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. I'll go up to on that. The
Yeah.
next card's cool though.
Yeah. Prince Liam, Battlecry Transform, all 1. Remember, it's not just spells or minions; it's 1-cost
Yeah,
cards in your
all
deck
1 cost cards.
into legendary minions.
That's good.
It's good. I mean, I don't know how many 1-cost cards you're gonna have in the deck as a paladin.
Yeah.
Like that's
Between secrets and Argent Squires and stuff, you'll have a couple.
yeah. Like it's not like that's what I mean. Like all I'm saying is like I think a lot of people look at this and just be like it's insane. I think it's really good because like you're not really losing a lot, even if like you don't have any, right? So like if you don't have any left in your deck, like it's still a 5-mana 5/5. So like
Yeah, it's always you can play it on curve. It's always like a fine curve.
I think the upside of this card, I'd give it at least a. Maybe
Now, I
I'd
give it an extra point because of the ability.
Yeah, is it a 6?
So what do you
For the
think?
Ability, but
I'm thinking
that
like
means it's like a 6.5 for me, or that's even a 7.
I could see
Yeah,
it being a 7.
I think a 6 or a 7 is fine. Like
Yeah,
I
I'm
would
in
be
that
fine with
range.
either rating. I think 7 is probably like
Oh.
like I think 7's fair because
Yeah,
like you don't want to go more than that because it definitely doesn't do
Right.
just because like the legendary minions for it's any random legendary, right? So it's not like just so
Right.
yeah, if it was like specifically to paladin, like and you get like terms more frequently and stuff, it would
That
be
would be pretty nice.
yeah. So then they would just go way up in value, but it's just like it's okay. But most legendaries are decent, so it like replaces your useless cards with useful cards later in the game.
Yeah, I'm wondering if I need to. Shit, I wonder if it's actually OBS. Maybe OBS.
Well, we could do a 5-minute break for a reset, and we can finish Paladin after that.
If you need it, yeah. Like maybe the 1080 is actually killing it.
Well, it's not that. Like I've never had issues with it before. Maybe